Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with the Soul. My name is Rita Hickman, and I'm a body-mind expert and shiatsu massage therapist out of Northern Illinois. And my specialty is helping women learn how they work so that they can start to dial down their anxiety, they can start to move out of depression, and they can really start making the next stage in their life. Hi, Sue. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Stanley. I'm glad you're here too. Thanks for joining me this morning. So today's topic, we've been working on soulmates all week. And we've spent the whole week talking about how soulmates can be really hard. You know, they're designed to trigger us. Good morning, Kathy. Hi, right back to you. Thanks for joining me today. So we've been talking about how hard, Allison, that soulmates have been, that they are designed, you know, by the universe or designed by our subconscious, I'm not quite sure which, to get underneath our defense mechanisms and touch us at our very heart and get to the wounds and the memories and the ideas which are the oldest ones that we carry. Now, so we've spent all week talking about kind of the difficulties and the challenges and the big stuff in regards to soulmates. And we've avoided talking about the really great things that soulmates bring into our life. So to do a quick recap, soulmates are people that, for whatever reason, are able to get past our defenses and able to be a catalyst for change. They can be very painful, you know, going through the process. They can be joyful going through the process. But either way, it's a challenge. It's like this big adventure or big journey that you decide to go on. And that the best way to walk into a soulmate relationship is to do it with your eyes wide open, knowing that this is what the relationship will entail. It's going to be hard. Good morning, Kristen. It's going to be hard. It's going to challenge us. But here's the beautiful thing. You know, on the opposite side, in Asian medicine, there's always about balance. And as far as you go in one direction is as far as you'll go in the other direction. So when someone has the ability to bring up the most painful memories or thoughts or ideas or beliefs that we carry, they also have the ability to take us to these levels of happiness and ecstasy and joy and enlightenment and empowerment that we didn't even think possible. You know, most of us kind of stay in that rut of this is what I need to do. I need to get up every day, you know, get my task list done, and then the next day's the same thing, and the next day's the same thing. What happens is soulmates come into our life, and because they work with our emotions, they pull us out of that rut, for good or for bad. You know, they take us to this level of feelingness, which other people just can't. So if you are in a relationship with a soulmate or you're looking for a soulmate, you walk in with your eyes wide open and you have your coping skills right in place, and you know it's going to be quite a ride, because not only will you plumb the depths of your shadow self, of the dark sides that you carry, but you'll also, you know, join with the angels and feel miracles and feel one with the universe and feel connected in a way that you never thought possible. So in actuality, soulmating, you know, or working with soulmates can be one of the best parts of living life, because, you know, we're feeling beings. Our body, good morning, Karen. Our bodies love to feel things. They love to feel a whole range of emotions, not just 2 or 3 or 4. They love to have the whole human experience. And when you've got a soulmate in your life, they bring you that. They bring you the whole human experience, the stuff that you've been trying to hide, the parts and pieces of your personality that you don't like, that you don't accept. Soulmates don't just bring out the best in you, they can also bring out the worst in you. But, you know, best and worst is really just a judgmentalism. Good morning, Carol. Is really just a judgmentalism. And good morning, Tamara. It's where we assume that a part of us or piece of us isn't good enough, is wrong, is bad. And we haven't come to see the value and the joy that all those parts and pieces, all of our shadow selves and all of those. Good morning, Erin. I'm glad you joined us. So all of these parts of us, soulmates bring them out of us, and we will be surprised. Suddenly maybe we've been victimized all of our life. And suddenly, because our soulmates push us too far, now we're the victimizer. Now we're the one who doesn't care about how anybody else feels. Now we're the one who is only thinking of our own point of view. Now that's not true for most of us women. Most of us, we tend to think of everybody besides ourselves. And then we have a hard time with the hidden parts of ourselves because we've been victimized so much through life, people bullying us and overpowering us in a very patriarchal society. This whole thing with sexual harassment and assault and how big it's been. Women have taken the brunt of a lot of these things. Soulmates let us or give us a space or a reason to really bring up these parts of ourselves, express them, because they tend to push us into an emotional corner where we don't care. We don't have any choice but to fight back or to express ourselves in a different way. That we can know what it feels like, know how easy it is to be the other side of the coin, and actually learn to love ourselves and understand where that part comes from. Where that anger or where that bully or how people can behave in that way. So soulmates really bring out our humanness. They bring out our whole self. And when you are with a soulmate, they help you become whole. Not because they're always supportive and loving and amazing and warm and fabulous, but because they challenge us to be different. When we become women, it's very different than what's expected from us than when we're children, especially when we're girls. A lot of us, if you're anything like me, we were raised to follow certain rules. We were raised to help the people around us feel smarter or better or wiser, to be supportive. Our brains are wired to see the bigger picture, and for me, I was requested or required to, be quiet and stay out of the way and don't make trouble and be a good girl and be nice and do all of those things, which people want. Most people, our society, because they're stressed out and busy, people tend to expect of girls, of children, girl children specifically. And then when we become women, we need to learn a whole different way of being, because not only what's expected of a woman, but what's appreciated and valued in a woman has changed. So Erin's got a quick question. How do you define soulmate? So my thought on soulmates are people who, for whatever reason, because the universe has brought them into our life and they're a metaphor, or because they touch us in some way, they come into our life to challenge and to move us to a different way of being because of how they make us feel. So soulmates are actually everybody that's out there, and you get to decide who you want to be who you want to engage with, who you want to be vulnerable with. If we let ourselves be open, everybody could be our soulmate. But can you imagine how difficult and emotional that is? I know I used to be very open to everybody, and every person that I met brought me a lesson and touched my soul. But that's exhausting. It really is. So the best soulmates are the ones that you consciously choose. Hi, Kathleen. They're the ones that you go in with eyes wide open and say, you know what, I have enough life experiences. I'm ready to do something different. I'm ready to go into a different direction. And I'm going to choose who my soulmate is this time, who I'm going to do this work with. And the best ones are the ones that, that at the end of the day truly love you. Now, Tamara says things happen for many reasons and that she's shut herself off from past trauma. That's very true. A lot of us have, because those wounds are really painful. And so when you want to deal with those, when you're ready to work through that trauma, look for a soulmate who really cares about you. And you'll know because you'll feel it. don't just wait for the universe to bring you a soulmate, for somebody to sneak past your defenses and resonate with you or trigger with you. That is kind of it's a recipe for disaster, because then you're going to get whatever the universe brings, whatever comes down the pike. And those experiences can be really, really hard. Good morning, Anne Louise. Those experiences of the universe bringing you a soulmate, like magic, can be exhausting. They wear you out because you aren't prepared. They fall out of the sky. So if you see many people as your soulmates, then you get to choose which relationships you continue forward with and which ones you don't. Recently, what's happened to me is people have been recognizing as they've gotten older the experiences that they want to have. And some have decided they've wanted to work with me, and some have decided that they haven't, because they aren't quite ready for the experience that I bring. And that's very cool, because owning what we want and what we need is one of the really important steps in moving forward and becoming women, and owning the fact that we're women and not little girls anymore. So the soulmates in my life are the ones that I intuitively know will care about me. So Tamara says, so keep reaching out and getting out more. Yes, that's very important, to keep reaching out and to keep getting out and looking at the world around us and using our own discernment for the experiences that we want. So intuitively, you'll know when a soulmate cares about you, when a soulmate at the end of the day is worth your time and worth your energy, because not all soulmates are worth the challenges or the trauma or the difficulties or the adventure that you go on. You want to go with someone that you actually like, because remember, this is like a hero's journey that you're going on with them. It's a healing relationship. And so you want to have somebody that there's enough beauty, enough happiness, enough self-awareness that they can be there for you when you really need them to be. You're both going to work through your own issues. Good morning, Mark. You're both going to work through your own issues when you do soulmate work. And that can make it seem like a giant thunderstorm, like two gods sending thunderbolts at each other. It's big and it's huge and it's powerful. And that's going to come up. But you need to be with somebody who at the end of the day or at the end of a couple days can come back and say, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I'm working on. So you want to continue to evolve up. When we're younger, we get involved with soulmates blindly because, the universe brings us somebody that metaphorically, energetically triggers us and brings it all up. It is a fair bond when you're able to give energy and love out and you're able to get it back. And that gives you the resilience to deal with the hard times, to deal with the tempers or the trauma or the pain that someone has when you're in a relationship with them. It gives you, let's say, the sticking power. Love at the end of the day, good morning, Michelle. Love at the end of the day is what gives you the motivation to stick with something. If you don't really love somebody, and if they don't really love you, then you're not willing to stick through all of the ebbs and flows and hurricanes and tornadoes and amazing moments of bliss and joy that come. You don't stick with it. So you'll know if someone's not just a soulmate, but if they're a life partner, is if you care about them and love them enough and they love you enough to stay with it. That's when a soulmate becomes someone that you have a long-term relationship with, that sticks around for decades and lifetimes. Those are the people that you want to cultivate out. So when people come into your life and they trigger you and they make you feel amazing, they make you feel something, that's when your discernment needs to come up. You say, you know what, is this a soulmate for a short term or is this a soulmate for long term? If it's the short term, when you're done with them, when you've evolved and you've grown and they haven't, you have permission to go to your next soulmate, to go to the next chapter or life experience that you have. But if they've given enough back to you and you have given to them, then you both stick it out. And let me tell you some of the benefits of sticking out soulmate relationships. When you've decided this is the choice that I've made, and the other person has decided this is the choice that I've made, doing soulmate work cleans up so much of that pain. It cleans up so much of your past history that controls you. Because it's like we have all of these landmines in our mind and in our body. Good morning, Jean. We have all of these landmines in our mind and our body. And these landmines make our decisions for us because we like to stay away from them. We like to stay away from things that make us uncomfortable or that distract us or take too much energy. And so it tends to make our lives smaller and smaller. It tends to put us into a box that isn't really in our best interests, that isn't really helping us live and become and evolve to our highest purpose. So a soulmate brings those parts out of us and helps us work through them. Sometimes soulmates are able to work through them with you, and those are pretty fabulous soulmates. Those are soulmates that you keep around, the ones that not just hang around for a little while, but the ones who want to help you through it. But a lot of soulmates, they aren't at that place yet. They aren't quite ready yet. And so you decide, do I want to stay with them? Do I not want to stay with them? And if you stay, then it's good to get some professional help. It's good to get someone that can be there for you and help you process through what's going on. That's one of the things I help women with, is when they've found a soulmate, when they've gone through these life experiences, job experiences, health experiences. I'm someone that they can come process through, feel better, and learn about themselves. So if you can find somebody that can be that for you, usually professional because they're dedicated to you, then that will help you through the soulmate ups and downs that happen. The best soulmates are the ones, though, that even amidst all of the pain and all of the sorrow and difficulties and ripping apart of your heart and ripping out your soul, even though you go through that, at the end of the day, they have enough self-awareness to say, what can I do for you? That was, for me, that was the golden ring, let's say, the thing I was reaching for that told me intuitively somebody was a soulmate that I wanted to be with, that I wanted to do a long-term healing relationship with, is when we're talking or when we're having a discussion or a fight or a difficulty, and halfway through, they're able to say, what do you need? What do you need right now? I know we're having this hard time. I know that we're struggling. What can I do for you? And maybe they're only able to say it for a second and then go back to the insane craziness that soulmates bring into our body and into our mind and our hearts. But if they have the ability to, even for 1 millimeter, be able to say, what can I do for you? How can I help you while we go through this very painful, difficult experience? Those are the people that I have my long-term healing relationships with, because I know they've got the ability and the potential to look past themselves, to look past how they feel and care about me. It's not only about who they are. So when I've seen that, when I've had that in my relationships, I've held on to that. I've held on to those people and those relationships because I knew they were keepers. They were people I wanted to have around for a while because I knew they had the ability to care about me at the end of the day. So soulmates are everywhere, and you get to pick which ones you want to go on little adventure trips with and which ones you want to go on long hauls. And how do you know which ones? The ones that care back, even if they bring you the most pain and the most suffering and the most sorrow, the ones that have the ability to care back, to reflect back the love and the care and the kindness and the compassion that you have, those are the ones that you keep around, and those make the best soulmates. So if you're ready for a healing relationship, good morning, Juliana. You reached us right at the end. If you're ready for a healing relationship, if you're ready for a soulmate, as I said, there are a few rules, but the main one is if they have the ability to care for you and if they trigger you on a regular basis, those are the ones that's that fine edge between pleasure and pain. But they're the ones that'll bring you out of the darkness, that'll bring all of your darkness up so that you can love it and heal it, so that you can nurture it and move forward from it and open up the next chapter of your life. So where are the best soulmates? They're everywhere. And how do you know which one? The one that both challenges you and causes you discomfort, but also can give back. Maybe not when you need it, but they have the ability to give back. And what you'll see is that the relationship will spiral up and spiral up and spiral up. And your life and your relationship keeps getting better until finally it gets to the point where you look at that soulmate and say, this was the relationship, this was the soulmate that I always wanted. Sometimes it takes decades to bring somebody, to evolve the relationship to that point. It can take a long time, and the sooner you start speaking up, thank you, Tamara, and the sooner you start speaking up and the sooner you start being authentic and stop being that little girl that plays nice. Women are meant to be authentic. Women are meant to say and express what they feel while also doing it in a very kind, compassionate way, in a way that's open-minded and not judgmental. So speak your truth, push your boundaries a little bit with your soulmate, and they'll push you. I do think of all sides of an issue because I've worked with soulmates a lot in my life. When you are able to heal those old wounds, you become happier, healthier, and more peaceful. And you're able to finally start to give back and give the love that you've always been looking for and get the love back that you've always been looking for. But you have to create your favorite soulmate relationships. You have to create them. They don't just fall from the sky. You have to work through all of the stuff that comes up and pick somebody that's willing to walk next to you on the journey. So thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow will be our last day on Soulmates, and I'll give you my best ways of surviving and thriving in a soulmate relationship. So if you love this and you want to be part of the movement, go to inspiremassage.com and sign up for our replays and our, thank you, Kathy, sign up for our replays and sign up for our daily inspirations so that you can stay on track, so that you can keep moving in the direction that's for your soul's and your humanness's highest good. Thanks, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.